is how we do it. This is how we do it.
What's going on, guys? This is Devin with Gaming in Progress, and I've been playing a lot of Tom Clancy's The Division, despite the fact that I haven't been doing Let's Plays on it anymore. I simply stopped those, because with your views, you guys showed me that it wasn't something that you wanted to see, so I stopped doing that. However, I've been playing a lot of the game, and as you know, I really enjoy it. Or as you probably know, I really enjoyed, because I was enjoying the beta on both systems, both the closed beta and the open beta, and I got the game and did some Let's Plays and broadcasts and stuff on it as well. But I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to do something to kind of give help to the Division community. So that's why I've created this list, and in this list are 10 tips that I think will help any player in the Division who is maybe a new player or maybe just have kind of forgotten about these. So we're going to get into this list here. Okay, so first up, tip numero uno is pick up everything you find. When you're playing through the Division, whether it's early on or late in the game, you typically get a good amount of loot drops throughout the game. Whether you're new or an older player, but you'll get stuff that you won't always think you need. And I'm here to kind of tell you, you should pick it up anyway. As long as you have the room for it, you got to remember that everything can be either deconstructed into parts for building blueprint weapons and gear, or it can be sold for credits, and then you can use the credits to re-roll gear. So basically, you really want to pick up everything you can, because this is an RPG MMO, and either sell it or deconstruct it, or if it's something you can use on your current character or a different character, use it. Because you have to remember that your stash is actually account-wide. So, yeah, pick up everything. Be a hoarder. Okay, so number 2 on this list is that you need to remember that you have consumables and that you should use consumables. Consumables you can get through talking with NPCs and giving them stuff, or you can find them on dead bodies or in chests, or you can just get them from the rewards vendor. If you have the season pass for the Division, you'll get those through you get like sets of stacks of 3 for like each thing through the rewards vendor at certain times. But consumables are something that you really should use. Especially take for example if you're in the Dark Zone hunting rogues. I very often will use explosive bullets combined with a bolt action sniper rifle to create a very deadly combo, because with an explosive bullet and a sniper rifle, it's one hit. Every bullet is an explosive bullet. And that's stuff you gotta remember. When you're going up a big group of NPCs and they're not elites, then I would suggest pulling out an assault rifle or an LMG and using incendiary rounds. If you're going up against elites, you should remember to drink water for when you're going against elites. So really, remember to use your consumables as often as possible. Okay, so number 3 on our list here is a friendly reminder that DPS isn't everything. And I know this can be kind of confusing, because when you look at how much your weapon does, you want to maximize it's that big number, but that's only the damage per second number, and that number doesn't matter if you're only hitting like every 1 out of 10 shots. So take an LMG for example. Yeah, sure, you can get the DPS like ridiculously high on LMGs. The downside is, you might not necessarily be able to hit anything, because if you're choosing certain, like, if you're choosing to have like a red dot or a laser on the side instead of something that would improve your accuracy and stability, then you're going to find yourself missing a lot more of your shots, so that DPS number isn't really going to matter. Not to mention the fact that you do have a damage number. Granted, your damage isn't going to be as high as your DPS, but your DPS is a combination of the weapon's damage, how many rounds you can get off in a certain amount of time, how accurate it is, and stuff like that. So DPS doesn't necessarily represent how much damage you're putting out if you're not hitting all your shots, or if all your shots aren't lining up. Not to mention the fact that single fire and semi-automatic fire weapons will have higher damage but lower DPS. So just keep in mind that the DPS number isn't the win-all end-all that it seems like. Okay, so number 4 on my list here is remember to swap out your gear to take advantage of the attributes, whether major or minor, and the talents if they have them, that the gear has. So you might come across gear that's good, but not necessarily what you're looking for, so most people either just deconstruct it or sell it or whatever. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not necessarily what you should do. Take, for example, a lot of people use the backpacks from the Agent Origins to give themselves extra ammunition or extra med packs and stuff like that. And that's not a glitch or anything. That's just using the gear properly and then switching back to your higher powered gear. So stuff like that you should really pay attention to. Or if you're engaging different targets, let's say you have like dark zone gear for like when you're playing solo, like the new gear sets, and then you have regular gear for when you're playing outside of the dark zone, or maybe when you're playing with your friends. So you should really remember all the gear you have, or go through it often at least, and see what you can change up to try and give yourself an edge. Okay, so this one can be an extremely important tip, depending on where you're playing, or just in general even, and that is, be sure to be mindful of the weather in-game, because there is a day and night cycle, there is weather and stuff like that, that you have to pay attention to. Because if you're in a firefight with either a bunch of enemies in the dark zone, or a bunch of named enemies or whatever, and a fucking blizzard breaks out and you can't see shit and they can't see shit and you're all just stumbling into each other, it's gonna be a hot mess. So be mindful of the weather, and try to use it to your advantage too. Like, I have a friend who has like full white gear or full white clothing, so when a snowstorm breaks out, he'll actually put on like a white jacket, white shirt, white pants, white boots, or whatever, and he'll blend in even more, making it even harder to find and hit him. So definitely be mindful of the weather and take advantage of it if possible. Do anything to give yourself an edge, really. Okay, so number 6 on my list here is be careful and cautious when you choose to re-roll gear. Re-rolling gear or re-rolling stats on gear is a really great thing, but you can only do it once. You can only choose one attribute to re-roll, if you will. And the first time you do it, it's not too expensive. But if you don't get what you're trying to get in the roll, then you're gonna have to keep rolling and rolling, and it's gonna get more expensive. So you really have to be careful when you're re-rolling gear, and how many times you re-roll it before you just give up and say, I'm not gonna get what I'm looking for here. I'll just have to try and craft another or find another and see if I can get what I want. So be very careful when you re-roll gear. Okay, so number 7 is pay attention to when the vendors restock. And that's because, let's say the other day you found the one weapon that you were looking for, the weapon that you're so excited to get, and you finally got enough credits or Dark Zone funds to finally be able to afford it. And you go all the way, you make your way to wherever that vendor is, probably having to fight numerous NPCs on the way, especially if it's in the Dark Zone, and you get there, and it's gone because the vendor restocked 5 minutes ago. So you really have to pay attention to when the vendors restock. Yes, there are websites that you can follow that'll tell you like the weekly restocks and stuff like that, but it's always a good idea to be mindful of when vendors restock, either daily, weekly, or otherwise. Okay, so this next one may seem kind of trivial, but I put it on here anyway, and that's to try and remember to complete the assignments, the daily assignments or the weekly assignments, simply because they give you experience, they give you credits, they give you Phoenix credits, which are always useful. I don't think anybody will not want Phoenix credits anytime soon. So definitely try and do the missions. I know some people out there don't like going into the Dark Zone, but I would say still do the Dark Zone daily missions. Just get in, complete the mission, and then get out quickly, and then be done with it. Okay, so this next one is kind of personal experience and opinions, really. But I would say, don't go into the Dark Zone alone. Yes, I mean, there are some players out there who are super badass and can totally rock the Dark Zone by themselves. However, there are going to be times when you're going to run into 4 super badass players, and you're all going to be pretty much equal, but that group of 4 has superior firepower on just you, so there's a good chance that you're gonna die at some point. You might get a couple of them down, but then they might get you down. And it's just so much easier to explore the Dark Zone by yourself. One thing I've noticed, or as a group instead of by yourself, and one thing that I've noticed is it seems like whenever I explore the Dark Zone by myself, and this is my experience here, I feel like I have a target painted on my back. Like, every player is looking at me, seeing if I'm paying attention to them and their group so they can kill me or not. So I would say don't go into the Dark Zone alone, or if you do, be very careful about it. Okay, so the very last tip I have for you kind of goes hand in hand with the previous tip about the Dark Zone, and that is always be mindful of your surroundings in the Division. And I say this for 2 reasons. The first reason I say this is when you're in the Dark Zone, you have to be mindful of your surroundings, really, because there are other players, and other players are often looking to kill an unsuspecting person. So you have to be aware of where you are, who's around you, and keep an eye on them so that they don't get the jump on you and just kill you and then run off, and then you're pissed off and you're trying to get them but you never do. And the other reason I say this is there are so many things that you might overlook. There are areas to explore, things to find, that if you're not paying attention to your surroundings, you will miss, and then that's an experience that you haven't found yet, or that's lost to you, maybe forever, because you didn't pay attention to it. So be very mindful of your surroundings in the Division, because you never know what you're gonna find. Okay, so that's just about gonna do it for this video. Before I wrap things up here, I want to thank Viral Players for making this video possible. You can check out their link in the description. And that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please be sure to give it a thumbs up button. And if you guys happen to be new here, don't forget to subscribe as well. Leave any comments, questions, or concerns in the comment section down below. And please, if you found this video informative and useful, be sure to share it with your friends or your fellow Division players. That being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and this has been Devin with the Gaming in Progress, and I will see you guys in the next video.